Alex and Chloe and Tasso. We went and got
Nice.
boils, so that was really awesome. And I really just appreciate my team and appreciate Alex for taking us out. It was fun.
Awesome. Love that. All right, let's go to Deanna, and then we'll go to Kaylin.
Was high. I got a B on my chemistry exam last week, and I appreciate that I get to be here today.
I appreciate that you're here as well. Let's go to Kaylin, and then let's go to Josh.
What's hot is I'm finally off work from my other job. That's great. I don't like that job. And I appreciate being home and being here and not there.
Finally, man. Oh my gosh. You guys don't understand.
Yeah, that should help you make a little bit more money, Kaylin. I feel like you're like probably put less hours into Cutco and make more money here than you have your other job and other hours you work.
Kaylin probably makes like double her weekly salary off of a single demo.
That's by the way, that's how I felt. I had another job when I first started Cutco, and I remember I used to work in a gymnastics gym at the time, and I've always been like a numbers guy, so I just remember like starting to calculate the numbers and start to like thinking about it, and I was like, I'm here for like 8 hours. I go and buy food. There goes 2 of the hours that I worked at lunch. And and then I'm like working here for 6 hours. I'm like, I made like today what I made, like I make off of a really crappy appointment that didn't go well. Like if I sold like 2 knives in an appointment, I made more than I made all day today. And that's when I was like, And they're like, are you gonna come back next summer? I'm like, no, I don't think so. Anyways, that was the first job I ever had. All right, let's go to Josh, and then we'll go to Madison.
So what's hot is that my graphic design business has finally got some customers with it again. And what I really appreciate is them sharing on Instagram and helping me boost that realm of my social.
Josh, send me a message after this. What kind of graphic design do you do?
I do a lot. I have certifications. I've had certifications for the last 6 years with all Adobe stuff. So
we might need to use some of your services for the division this summer. So
that's fine.
We'll chat. All right, let's go to Madison, and then we'll go to Alyssa.
Okay, so what's hot is I got to meet with my life coach today and talk about double majoring. And what I appreciate are my sisters. I got to hang out with them a little bit more recently, so it's been really nice.
Nice. Who's your life coach? Do I know?
It's probably not. It's like through my school, so
okay.
It's like not through them, but it's through them. And her name's Catherine Harris.
But... Cool. I don't think so, but what's the shop? Cool. That's awesome that your school does that. Let's go to Alyssa, and then we'll go to Tasso.
What's hot is that I've been on campus almost every day since the semester started, so that's really fun. And there hasn't been a big outbreak of corona, so always a plus. And I appreciate everyone in my sorority for being super helpful. Like if I ever need someone like without like to like help me out, they're always there for me. So that's always nice,
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to Tasso, and then let's go to Victoria.
Yeah, what Leah said, it was really nice to just hang out with everyone. Leah, Chloe, and Alex. Really nice to them take us out. And actually before this, I had a demo and I made a sale. And I actually just got back from Tallahassee as well, visit some friends.
Cool. Eventful past couple days for you. Let's go to Victoria, and then we'll go to Gabriel.
What's hot, I finally got in contact with my success coach, so I get to schedule my classes, which I'm happy about. And I'm appreciative of my family, my parents. I told them I got the AM spot, and my mom sent me a card saying I'm the best. And I literally just saw her last week, so it was great.
That's sweet. That's always good. My mom gave me a Valentine's Day card this year. Let's go to Gabriel, and let's go to Spencer.
All right, so what's hot? I don't know, for you people who live in Miami, like all the schools do like Assassin, so we just started that today. I'm gonna go kill my target later tonight. And I really appreciate my health and being able to wake up and being able to have all this energy, being able to work out and just being healthy. So yeah, that's it.
So explain for
have
people that
some-
aren't from Miami what assassin
Yeah.
is.
All right, so like pretty much every school does it. You get like a target, like you get a partner, and then like it's like the whole grade, and then you have to kill like another like duo, and you have to like not get killed by two people like coming for you, and then like every week there's less people, and at the end like
Water
whoever-
guns, everyone. It's water guns.
You get a huge like prize. Like it costs like at least at Westminster costs $10 to get in per group, and it goes into like a pot, and then
Yeah.
after whoever wins, just you split it between you and your partner.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it's terrible. 'cause you wake up at
Sorry, Alyssa, you're going on mute. All right, Spencer, what's hot and what you
show up at their
appreciate?
house before school. Have some great tip game.
What's hot? Great weekend, honestly. Great weekend. Never been a big Valentine's guy, but it was pretty fun. What do I appreciate? The roof over my head. Because as of right now, I don't know if you guys are in Miami, but massive thunderstorm pretty much all day. So very happy to have a roof over my head on this ugly day.
Yep. And I'm appreciative of it being warm. Literally everywhere else is like snowing. Just so you guys know, our region office closed, and our region office is in Dallas because Dallas is like in feet of snow and has no power for the next like 4 or 5 days. Dallas, Texas is snowed in. There's like a snowstorm going all across the country right now. So I'm appreciative of it being warm too. All right, ladies and gents. Well, we'll go ahead and get things kicked off and dived in. Alyssa, I think you have connection now. You just started cutting out super hard when you started talking. So, and it just started layering through, but it took a couple seconds to let you know. All right, we are going to go ahead and dive in officially for today. Take a quick second to get your notes out from our last call. And first, I like to open it up just for some debriefs, light bulbs, takeaways, or anything that's giving you some confidence or clarity going into your role from your notes just from our last call. I'd like to get a couple shares here, and we'll dive in officially for the day. Yeah, Deanna.
I liked how you made it like sound simple, that a good assistant manager impacts sales and or impacts recruiting.
Yep, that's it. That's what we're going to be talking about today, part one of that, which is impacting recruiting, impacting PRs, the number one way. And that's what we'll really talk about today. I'm going to dive into that a little bit more, but it comes down to those two things. That's if you want to be an outstanding assistant manager, it's your ability to impact sales and your ability to impact recruiting. Let's get a couple others. Shares here. Leah, and then we'll go to Madison.
I mean, this is something I've heard ever since starting the assistant manager intern, and that's reps don't do what the district manager says, they do what the AM does. And that's absolutely true, but I think kind of going off of what Diana said, it's you're impacting either the sales, the recruiting through the culture and stuff like that. And I mean, culture building is big as an AM, so.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Let's go to Madison, and then let's get someone in Miami.
Yeah, so mine was kind of the same as Leah, but also like winning or like the results are kind of like the byproduct of your culture. So what you create, that's how you get the results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard a good quote the other day. It was saying that like success doesn't give you happiness. Happiness gives you success. And I know that's not directly exactly what we're talking about, but it's a very similar thread of like, you know, the team doesn't do well and have a good culture because they're performing. The team has a good culture, so they perform. Does that make sense to everybody? You know, the sales don't come first, and then we get a good culture, and then we have a good team, then we have fun. You know, it's no. It's like we have fun, we have a good team, we have a good culture, and that's what creates all the results that we have. So good point there, Madison. Let me get someone in Miami to chime in, and then we'll go to Tasso. Yeah, Spencer or Gabriel, whoever wants. You guys both share if you want.
Yeah, I'll just make mine quick. People can talk as well. Probably the one that stuck out the most to me is kind of just the importance of the team captain and the coach. You know, something that I kind of picked off of is like the coach kind of creates the culture, but the team captain kind of enforces it. And I think that's very important, especially when it comes to communication with AMs and communicating with reps and stuff like that, and making sure that, because the coach can't really talk to every player on the team at once.
Yeah, exactly. There's a book that the whole division is reading called "You Win in the Locker Room First," and with like literally in a sports analogy and capacity, right? Like the coach might be telling them at practice, "Hey, here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we want to do. Here's our vision," But then, like the players go back into the locker room, and if the captain does something that is directly the opposite of what that coach did, it's going to deteriorate everything that coach just did. And on the opposite end, if the captain is like actually bringing it home more forward, it's a lot more powerful than anything the coach could have said. It's a small talk. It's a small chatter. It's what happens in the little group chats. It's what happens in the backgrounds. It's what happens in the back end of the Zoom calls. Like that is where the culture exists and creates the communication between the team members, not just what the person at the top is saying during the meeting, right? So love that. Thanks for coming in, Spencer. We'll go to Gabriel, and then we'll wrap up with Tasso. We'll dive in.
Well, something important that I got from last meeting was the fact, like something you said about leading from vision and not circumstance. So like just doing what you have to do, like from the beginning, like knowing where you want to go, so that at some point, if something goes wrong, you don't have to like settle for what you have. You can keep striving for where you want to go. So pretty much.
Love it. Tasso, you want to take us home?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to culture. I said this last time when we were talking about the book, but culture drives expectations, and beliefs drive behavior. Behavior drives habits. Habits create the future. It all starts with the culture. And I'm pretty sure you said this last meeting, but you said make sure you make your district manager look like God. So that's very important.
Cool. Yeah, that's a good analogy and example, but that's essentially is you want to build them up so they can build you up, and build them up to your representatives too. So let's dive in here for a little bit today. Last week we talked about a couple different things. So I'm going to give you guys some updates first around the horn on some things that we should be working on and we should be realistically just paying attention to. So the first one would be social media jumpstart. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up the drive here, FCH social media jumpstart fact list. Okay, so every single one of you all. Now, Tampa, I realize, again, with you all, Mike may be a little bit not giving you guys too much direction on this, but I'm going to give you guys the direction on it. So until Mike is ready to rock and roll, when we get closer towards the summertime. So for all of you all, although there's a bunch of the tab for every single new office that we have. Our current district offices are all located on here. So Clearwater, you should be updating this sheet. Tampa, you guys can be updating this sheet. And on each tab, okay, it says the manager's name. Okay, so this says Metro Miami. So we want to change this to Tampa. Okay, and then this would be Mike Brown. What's the sheet? Also Jonathan Costello. And then there's a bunch of helper tabs. Okay, so it looks like some people already started. Just for Deanna, Victoria, Eric, you guys would be just change each of these tabs to your name. So you would just go ahead and rename them, and that's where you would do your sheet, and it will all count up on the total one for their office spreadsheet. So when we're looking at the offices, and Felipe sends for all of our managers the office report, everything that you guys put on this sheet will be included into that report. Metro Miami. See how we're making some moves. Nice work. Dude, Gabriel, nice work, man. You're crushing already. 447. So I just want to point out, this is just like an example of going above and beyond. Like the number is 500 for you guys to get to. So I gave that assignment last week and Gabriel's almost done with it. Now, you can still keep chucking away at it, Gabriel. I think the more the merrier. But I just want to say nice work. And also, really anyone that's already made moves with this, okay, the first due date is not till March 1st. So if you haven't started it, you're not like in a ton of trouble. But that was the assignment for today. So I'm going to review the AM syllabus here in a second. But there's going to be assignments that will be taking place for each and every single call. Moving forward, it will be a little bit of social media stuff, and then there'll be one video for you to watch and debrief and send notes to me on each week, somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour on the long end for the longest videos. And then we'll be doing this in the background. So I'll give some extra thoughts here in a second, but just want to say, sorry, I'm doing this call outside and now it's like Spencer said, starting before and thunderstorm. Can you guys still hear me? Cool. I also wanted to say, nice look, Alyssa, already over 100 too as well. And let me see here. Let me recognize some Sarasota, and then I know there's some questions, so I will take those in just a second. Also, let's see, Clearwater / Sarasota, same thing. Tasso, nice job, man. Already over 150, or already at 150, so well above and beyond what was expected this week. Already making moves. All right, let me open it up. Deanna, you were raising your hand.
Just to clarify, is this like an attack list, not people that we've already messaged before?
I might move this inside in a second. Lightning just like almost struck me. Sorry, say it one more time.
No, you're fine. Is this just like an attack list, or is it it's not people that we've messaged before, right?
Yeah, so let me get some clarity on the assignment, because we've gone over this in quite detail for all our BMs and DMs, but I didn't really get a chance to cover this in the last call, which is why, again, I'm not holding people like really accountable for these numbers, because it was the last thing on the list and we barely covered it. I just kind of told you guys to do it. So the direction for what you should be doing, okay? So we're adding these names to spreadsheets. So people that have not started this, let me give you a little bit of clarity. And for people that have started it, let me just make sure you're doing it right. Okay, so everyone has a specific tab that they're working on. Jonathan, we got to make sure Gelsis is taken off here. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think you added that in as like an example.
No, I think Gelsis came in and adjusted it and stuff.
Well, none of her numbers have influenced that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why. Anyways, neither here nor there. So what they're doing, okay, is we are looking to create a attack list, and I sent the numbers into the group chat. So if you go to the AM chat and you scroll up to my last message that I sent right after our call and there's a full-time assistant manager, social media jumpstart benchmarks. And I will go ahead and report this up to the chat. So that's the benchmark of how many people you're supposed to do. So this is for two things. We are not messaging these people right now. Okay, the goal is to do two things while we do this. Number one is we want to start building your following in whatever respective market that you're in. You know, for instance, Kaylin, you're not in Miami, but you're working in the Miami office this summer. You want to have a following in Miami before the summer comes around, like just people from Miami following you on Instagram, because those all can be PRs that can count for you as well. So the other thing that we're doing is we will message a lot of these people this upcoming summer. Now, it's different in every office, okay? Some offices, assistant managers will be sending out these messages themselves, and a lot of offices, in fact, probably in most scenarios, we have a company called Growth to Success that will be taking over and automating the messaging, which is a good thing for you as an assistant manager, by the way, because what it used to look like is literally every day of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the first thing you were doing was waking up, sending 30 messages. God. All right, I have to go inside. Let me give me 30 seconds to move this inside. Hold on.
Gabo, I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you.
I'm coming for you, man. Watch out.
Yeah, you should have just done it, man.
I was done. I was doing this on the phone with him, and I'd be like, "Oh, how many do you have?" And it'd be like another 100, and I'm like, "How are you doing this so fast?"
Did he really stay up to try and beat me on the PR list sheets?
I mean, God, I thought you were just gonna chill at 172. I was like, okay, I'll do 200 and call it a day. But then, you came up with 200 more. I had to push on,
Yeah, what time did you go to sleep last night?
Like 12 something. I did the rest like in class today.
Yeah, because we were doing it to make sure we weren't getting the same people on our lists.
First thing I was saying, I thought Gabriel went to like 2 a.m. just writing
going
Instagram usernames. Still couldn't beat me though.
First names. We could just write their username.
Well,
followers.
Well, I mean, usernames. You also want to put the names on there as well too.
Okay. Yeah, because I've like filled out every column.
I realized I was taking too long, so then
That's funny.
All right, we're back. I literally just so there was I'm staring right here at the computer, and I felt like I just stared directly into lightning. Like my eyes are like
you
like
saw
the lightning came right out. I was
from
like,
the window behind you.
Yeah, after that one, I was like, I can't see on my left eye. I have to go inside. Anyways, all right, we're back. So to give a little bit more direction, yes, Gabriel, you want the names in there too. So make sure you're putting the name, make sure you're filling out all the column data. So we have that. Who are we putting on this list? Let me give a little bit of clarification on how you're going to go about doing this. So we're looking for SMRAs and sales reps. Now, I know there's a wide variety of skills. A lot of you know exactly what this is. Some of you all have no idea what the difference between those two things are. So I'll elaborate a little bit. SMR, well, raise your hand if you have a pretty good idea of what an SMRA is. Okay, an SMRA is a social media recruiting assistant. Okay, so these are girls that they technically can be guys. We're not sexist about it, but we pretty much only hire mostly girls for this role. These are social media recruiting assistants that their job, so they are employees. They're not like your job as a sales rep where you guys are technically 1099 independent contractors. These are employees, meaning it's just an hourly job. They do it over Zoom. We pay them per hour. And their job is to help us tap into different networks. Like their job is to advertise for the position via social media. Now, some SMRAs, what they'll do is they'll eventually get it brought into our PR calling department. So just like a lot of you all, or everyone will do this summer, is set PRs, or some of our SMRAs will also do that. But the number one, their main job is just creating awareness on social media and creating interest in the position. The reason that this program is one of the most important things in any district office, it's one of the most, like, it really is a way for us to help tap into different networks of people. As a lot of you all know, this, because we are such a recommendations-based business, like people recommend people to the job. We're going to talk about PRs today and how that influences the success of an office. Really, it's all about tapping into different networks because there's different friend groups of people, right? And so what SMRAs does is allows us to bring on a lot of different people from different schools and different networks, and they're able to help advertise and create awareness around the position. And their goal is to just get people that are interested and get phone numbers, and then they'll toss them over to someone that can actually call them and schedule them. A lot of our SMRAs eventually turn into sales reps. Like, one of our branch managers this summer, Chloe Corey, she started as an SMRA last summer, got into sales, and then, and eventually became an assistant manager, and now is on the track to be a branch manager this summertime too. So that's the SMRA role. Okay, what we're typically looking for is, and y'all are younger, so you guys understand this probably more than anybody else. Just think about your typical like social media influencer, but probably not like that crazy of an influencer because they're younger. But your typical, like, they're well buttoned up, they look good, they've got a solid following on social media. They don't need to have 100,000 followers, but the more followers, the better. That means the bigger their network actually is. So a good SMRA is probably like 10,000 followers. But our limits is really just, hey, do they have at least 1,500 followers? If they have less than 1,500 followers, we won't even consider them. But typically, I'd say like 1,500 is the lowest. Your ideal candidates, a lot of them are going to be like 3,000 to 5,000 followers, 5,000 to 10,000 followers. People that are, again, make sure the right age, like seniors in high schools to seniors in the high schools or college students. And again, we want both of those groups because they're two different groups that we kind of recruit from. So people that went to your best schools and networks, the goal for our district offices is to make a list of every single school that we have in our territory. And we want to recruit 2 SMRAs from every single school to really help us kind of build in that fuel and stuff like that too. There's definitely differences between good SMRAs and bad SMRAs, typically. And I think you guys probably should have a good understanding of this, but just think about people that are going to get a high response when they send messages on their profile. Think about people that it kind of has that attractiveness feature, but not like scandalous. You know what I mean? Like they are representing the company and there's branding behind that too. So it's not just like, oh, they have a ton of followers and it's like, that would be great. Like it's got to be appropriate, right? In a sense. But those are the types of people recruiting for the SMRA role. Sales reps could literally be anyone from our territory and market that we're putting on that spreadsheet. Now, the goal is to get quantity, but I want you guys to focus on quality when you do this, okay? Because with the company that we're going to use this summer called Growth to Success, they're able to do this for us. We're already paying them money, to go out and find people to send messages to. But growth to success is not, they don't live in our city. You know, they don't live in our territory area. They're not going to be able to say, oh, this person's a stud from this school in Miami and they're valedictorian and they're great. Or this person, she's super well connected around all these people. Everyone in Miami knows her, great. You know, like they're not going to think about any of that stuff. They're just going to say, all right, it's a girl. She goes to school. She got 1,500 followers. Okay, put her on the list. I'm going to send her a message. That's all. It's just like a checkbox. Okay, they're not going to be super intentional about it. So us as assistant managers, we want to be a little more intentional about the people that we are sending messages to this summer. Once this list runs out, Growth to Success will keep messaging other people. So the messaging doesn't stop, but we want to be intentional with the people that we are trying to recruit and bring in for the summertime. You know, so like Jonathan, as he's doing it, like Jonathan, like his list, his goal is to find the best list of, the top essentially like 15 to 20 recruits from every single school in our area. Like that's the goal, is that we have a list of like, okay, cool, the valedictorians and the salutatorians, who's the scholarship winners, who's the best athletes in the school, who are the most popular people in school. Like that's the type of, like, who are the best recruits? You know, the same way if you're going to recruit people from a company or you're recruiting from a college, from a university, it's like, you don't just want anyone that goes to FSU. You want the top kids in the business school, or the top economic students, or the top, like medicals. Like you want the creme de la creme, the top slice, not just like, oh, okay, cool, they go to FSU, nice, check the box. As if you were a college recruiter. It's the same thing even with our high schools too. So again, you can put a quantity on it, but I'd really be thinking about quality recruits. As assistant managers, the other thing that I'd be thinking about too is that a lot of these people are going to count as personal PRs for you. If they get messaged off of your social media, they will count as your PR. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about today is like the mindset of everyone should be, how do I get at least 10 PRs for the summertime? That's just where most people's heads should be at for the summertime, considering if you set things up right, just from social media alone, you should have 4 to 5 of them, not even talking about people that you actually know personally and your friends that you're bringing onto the team during the summertime too as well. So a couple other quick tips for this in terms of sourcing. The best way to do things is just to literally go to Instagram, and all you'll do is, and I think everyone should have a pretty good understanding of this. I'm not going to spend too much more time on it, but I'll just give you guys an example. All right, so cool. I can go to Instagram. Age requirement is still 17 to recruit them. Okay, so if I go to Instagram, I can click on Columbus High School. Okay, by the way, now first off, there's oftentimes a lot of pages that just have all these people. Some of you guys are in these class pages with like different groups and classes. Those are landmines. You can just put the people down on that list in that spreadsheet pretty easily. But you'll see here, okay, there's, they have all these people, and what I can do is I could go through like and look at all the people that they're following, and I can find someone that, all right, cool. I don't even know, half these people don't even look like students. Okay, Jessica Davis clearly does not go to Columbus. Tyler Bama, I don't know. This Roll Tide Central Alabama also doesn't go to Columbus. This is not a good example. I think here's the point. You could look up, the easiest thing to do is look up like locations. If you just look up the locations, you can also see where the photos have been posted. So if I type in Columbus.
Tagged photos, because some students will tag the school.
Yeah, it's harder to do on the computer, by the way. So that's kind of why I'm having trouble with it. But if you go on the phone, you go to location, you can look up locations. Same thing with colleges, by the way. We don't want to recruit just high school students, like college students, FIU, University of Miami, like anywhere that there's location. I'll go to the sports fields for different places and see all the athletes that posted photos there or what's tagged there. And a lot of times too, once you post a photo, like this looks like it's his little brother. So yeah, too. But all right, cool. Max Spinal. All right, great. If I give him a follow, and a lot of times what will happen is, see, it's not going to do it on the computer, but you guys know how that little drop down box, once you follow someone, that little drop down box appears on Instagram. That also times is a lot of those people, their network. So Instagram will start to catch on the algorithms of the type of people that you're following, and it will usually oftentimes show you a lot of like their friends and other people that are connected with them. And you could follow those people too as well and put them on the list. I would kind of follow people as you go, because what's going to happen is anyone that follows you, we're going to be posting triple threats all summer long. And you all know that when you first start the job, you post a triple threat and you get a bunch of responses. And then like 3 months later, you post a triple threat and no one responds. okay? Because all of your friends have already seen you post that up before. You kind of want to have like, imagine being able to post a triple threat on a Wednesday night and you have 5 people message you about being interested in the job. You don't know any of them. That's kind of what you want to set up for yourself, but you won't be able to do that in the middle of summer. You have to start working on that now. So the 2 parts of social media jumpstart that we want to be doing is, number 1, how many followers can you get in your area and market? The best way to build your followers is to just follow other people and then unfollow the people that don't follow you back, after like a week or 2 of doing it. So I'll do this is like back in if you want to run it, like build it up, take some time, follow like 500 people one week, unfollow 500 people. Follow another 500 people, unfollow 500 people. Follow 500 people, unfollow. You don't have to unfollow your friends, but you can kind of just do this in the background. That will build your following. The second thing you want to be doing is just finding people and putting them down to your list. Now, what I would recommend for all of you all to start, okay, is to start off with the people that you're following or whoever's already following you. Go through that list first to make this list, okay? Because what's going to happen is if you submit that list, they're going to send messages from your account to those people, and those will be your PRs for the summertime. But if someone else on your assistant manager team happens to put, someone that that's already following you, but they just found them on Instagram and put them down on their list, they're going to get a message from them, which not only is not that great for recruiting, because obviously the message is going to be a lot better coming from someone that they know versus a random person on Instagram, but also means it's going to be their PR for the summertime too. So I would start off with your followers. If there's someone that you don't want to put down, you don't have to put them down. Okay. But I would go through and just be really like thinking and being intentional about who could I recruit? And also as you put people down, be thinking about like, it's also just a good idea to do for your PR list, right? So I'm getting a PDI call notification. So here's the other thing that we're doing is PR list. So there's 3 kind of social media jumpstart activities, or just assignments that we're working on this spring. One is to build your following. We're not going to track that at a high level, but it is very, very important. We're just not tracking it because it's going to be too much of the pain to track the numbers, but start to build your following in your area, okay? Second thing is to add is the 500 by April 1st benchmark. You can go above and beyond that. Like you guys just saw, Gabriel did it in like a week. Got to the 500. So it's really not that many people. The last thing is a list of 100 PRs for the summer. Those are people that you already have one day. Those are the people that you already have phone numbers for as PRs. Like these are people that you could already reach out to. So as you go through, by the way, and add certain people into your Instagram list, I would also be like, I kind of know this person a little bit better. I could probably just reach out. In fact, I have their cell phone number. They might be a good candidate for the summer. Put those people on your PR list, not necessarily the social. I mean, you could probably put them on a social media list too. That way, if they'll end up getting a message one way or another at the end of, throughout the summer too. But I would make sure that if you find people as you're going through your personal following, oh, I know this person, I haven't talked to them in a while, it might be a good person, put them on the PR list and make a point to interact with them maybe at one point or another before summer comes around. Is everyone follow? I know I'm covering a lot of information though. Does everyone follow me? Cool. So those are the 3 activities. Jonathan, something I think we need to do, by the way, is make sure that, let's see here. On our tab, what I'd like us to do is, and I can go through and edit this, or you can kind of do it, but on each of these tabs, what we want to do is have the PR list on here as well. So for instance, on Kaylin's, we'd come over here, just make another column with like this information, and we'll make like their PR list in the same sheet. So that it has another column for PRs, personal PRs. And it would just be name, phone number, school, and then like high school or college probably. That way we would know when to start recruiting them. And then probably another column too. I'll help you set that up too if you want, but if you want to set it up like we're talking on the call, I don't know if you're busy or not. Any other questions on social media? Yeah, Madison, and then Leah.
Since I'm in Hickory, where do you want me to like put my list? Not under Tampa, right?
I think Lindsay has a section on hers for you.
Okay, yeah. Is that where you're gonna be like looking for my stats then?
Yeah, you can just do that. We'll update it. I get the updates from Lindsay's and all the other total ones too. So we'll see it factored into there.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Good question. Leah?
Could you send that sheet into the group chat again? Because I've been using a different one. Or maybe it's the same one, but I don't see, it doesn't look the same. It's not all blue and purple like yours is. I think Alex just made it.
Yeah, maybe she has you doing it on a different sheet potentially. So just checking with her and make sure you're using the right sheet. If she wants you
Okay.
using a different one and she's copying and transferring over for you, then just do what she wants. But just go check and confirm with her. But I just sent it into the group chat as well.
All right, will do. Thank you.
Perfect. And then Jonathan, what we'll put in there, by the way, for PRs, we want name, phone number, the high school, and then college. I think the high school that they went to, and then college if applicable. That way and then like a mark if they're in high school or in college. Is there anything else that you'd include on that?
No, we already have similar lists created from the winter break, so I think we're just gonna copy that.
Okay, cool. The other thing you'd probably want in the column is, are they warmed up or not? Right? Because we're gonna have some PRs that it's like, you guys are gonna have friends this summer that, hey, I don't know, it's worth giving them a phone call and a shot. Let's see how it goes. And there's other people like you're already kind of talking to about getting and being recruited for the summertime too. And those are people that are like more warmed up. Like they're already kind of like, ideally you're already getting them interested, versus some people it's like, I have no idea what they're doing this summer, but it's worth giving it a shot. So we want to kind of categorize and rank those people there as well. And again, with your PR list, as I'm going to talk about in a second, it's really quality over quantity. Like everyone should get to 100, but I'd rather you get to freaking 30 and they're actually like people that you're intentionally going after for the summertime, versus you just putting 100 random people on a sheet and then your manager wastes a couple of days trying to call through them and you've never spoken to any of them about anything, and it's just completely like you didn't put any energy or effort into it and you're just kind of like, yeah, here's some people you can call. So there's a difference, I think, in quality of that too. All right, we're gonna change things and change the direction here a little bit. I'm gonna plug into the charger here. And I want to go over our growth topic for today, okay, which is part one of how to be an outstanding assistant manager. As Deanna mentioned at the beginning of the call, there's really only two ways. There's only two things you can do as an assistant manager to impact the results. Did we lose Spencer, by the way, Jonathan?
Yeah, power cut due to.
Okay, cool. Just make sure he watches this video afterwards so he's not lost. Okay, there's only two things that you can really do as assistant manager to be good and to impact the office: impacting PRs and impacting recruiting. The things that you can do to impact PRs is, number one is bring your own personal PRs on the team, which I'm going to talk about today. Second thing is, setting PRs in the actual office. So they might not be your PRs, but just increasing the PR set number in the actual office. Another significant recruiting activities, doing PCs with reps, helping them get more more numbers, then recommending people to the team, three-way text, like other just random recruiting activities. The other way is to impact sales, which there's lots of kind of duties and functions you can do as an assistant manager to impact sales. PDI, speaking in a team meeting, doing PCs with reps, driving Champions Club attendance, driving Wednesday and Sunday attendance, driving the phone jam. Like there's a lot of different things you can do to be impacting sales, taking reps on field training. Okay. But the number one thing that you can do to impact sales as an assistant manager is personally selling. It's the number one thing that you can do as an assistant manager, just period, to impact the actual sales results of the team during that time period. And the number one thing that you can do to impact recruiting as an assistant manager is get your own PRs on the actual team. So, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of my message on just, how important it is to get your own personal PRs on the team. And I'm not talking about, by the way, social media PRs. I think like, even though those will count for contests, they'll count for prizes in the office, that's not the same as actually like your personal friends, like you reaching out to your network and your friends and getting your friends on the team. The goal for each and every single one of your offices is that, I can tell you from Mike's standpoint, I can tell you from Alex, I can tell you from what we're doing in Miami. We wanted to build the biggest, baddest district organization in the entire company. And really the number one key to us doing that is that our assistant manager team is getting their own PRs in the door in the months of April and in May. I really want to make that clarification too. Not just during the summer, it's getting their own PRs in the door in the months of April and May. Why? Because as we know, culture eats strategy for lunch. When I was a branch manager, I opened up my office and we had one assistant manager. Okay. And we won a Silver Cup that summer. Now, that summer, Eddie De Las Cuevas, who a lot of you all know, came along. He was a stud rep that summer. He won a scholarship, and we won a silver cup that summer, by the way. It was primarily because of Eddie. And here's the deal. I knew that summer that I wanted Eddie as an assistant manager in my office the following summer when I was a second-time branch. Not because he was a scholarship winner and he sold 50 grand for the summer, but the number one reason I wanted him as an assistant manager in my office the following summer is because he had 7 personal PRs on the team that summer. You know, so the next summer we came out and we had 3 assistant managers. Okay, a lot of y'all, this is the summer that we broke the all-time national sales record for branch offices for the company. The record was 520. We did $683,000 in sales that summer, and we had 3 assistant managers. Okay, it was Eddie De Las Cuevas, Gabe Campo, and Gabriel Torres. Okay, out of maybe 500, out of that 680K, I would say about $500,000 of it at least came from our assistant manager team, the people that they recommended. Okay, Eddie recommended, some of you guys know this person too, Eric Palacio to the job that summer. We also recommended Moises Jat to Eric Palacio, by the way. So just to give you some background, Eric Palacio was recommended for the job. He went out and sold 28 grand that summer. He ended up becoming the number 6 branch manager in the company the next summer, was an assistant manager with me in Tallahassee, and then became a district manager when he graduated from college. We also recruited Moises Jatin. Moises Jatin sold a little bit shy of 40 grand that summer. He was also a Columbus graduate. Moises Jatin actually recommended a couple of the other studs that we ended up having on our team, which was probably another 40 to 50 grand in CPO for the summer. Also on our team, from that team, I can't even remember all the names of the people that Eddie recommended individually. Gabriel Torres brought in, I think his 2 cousins combined for like $20,000 in sales. Then he also brought in Nico. We also had Gabe Campo brought it. And then, sorry, the last person I had was also Carlos Pelayo. Gabe Campo came in and brought, who was it? Marcel Fayen. Marcel Fayen was recommended the job by Carlos Pelayo. He was the number 1 SE2 push performer that summer. He also went out and sold about 45 grand or so for the summertime. Was an assistant manager for us the following summertime. Gabe Campo went out and his PR team collectively sold about 200 grand for the summer. So Gabe Campo had a 20 grand SE2 push. Sold 10 grand for SE1, and then probably finished off the summer around 40 grand in sales. And his 2 buddies that he recommended, which I'm blanking on their names right now. I can remember their faces too. But his 2 buddies that he recommended both also sold 30 grand on the team that summer. And they recommended some other people to, Luis Socorros and Christian Batista. They sold about 80 grand's worth. And then their PRs also sold about another 100 grand's worth. Carlos Pelayo single-handedly, we had more kids from St. Brendan that summer than any other summer I've ever worked here. And Carlos is a senior graduating from St. Brendan, started that entire trend. He recommended Nico Mesa. He recommended Emmerich Legende. He recommended, literally probably about 200 grand worth of CPO for the summertime. And what I mean, out of that $684,000, if you took out my assistant managers out of that picture, we would have sold $150,000 for the summertime. Okay, I would say about, out of that 684, probably 300 of it, half of it, came from the people that my assistant managers personally recommended to the team. And the rest came from the people that got personally recommended to the team, their PRs. But keep in mind, none of those would have been there if those people didn't get originally recommended to the team, and all that came from those 3 individuals. And we talked a few times on the phone about the possibility of them being in the AM going to this summer. And it was something that they were all excited about. Our personalities, meshed well, and we decided to select them for the job. But that was where the summer really started. I think about the next summer, our first $1 million year. That was the first summer that Eddie Esquivas was my district office manager. Keep in mind, by the way, Eddie recommended 7 people the first summer. He already had another single-handedly helped us build the office the second summer and won, and broke a record. The next summer, he had another 9 PRs on the team. Robert Catalo, he was in the first training class of the summer. First training class of the summer in our $1 million summer, we had 3 individuals sitting there. It was Robert Catalo, who was recommended by Eddie Las Cuevas. It was Jordan Galvez, who was actually recommended by Gabriel Torres the previous summer. And it was Ryan Ramirez, who was also recommended by Eddie Scuevas. Out of that group, Ryan Ramirez had a 10K fast start. Jordan Galvez sold 40K for the summertime. Robert Catala sold 35K for the summertime. First training class of the entire summertime. He also recommended Gabby Freire, Callie Fernandez, Jordan Million, Adrian Arredondo, who some of you guys know, Alejandro Pedroso, Max Melguizo. All these people went off and sold $25,000 to $30,000 in sales for the summertime too. That was just from Eddie. Then you add in Rob, Marcel Fayen's PR, Lauren Miros. And I share this with you guys to give you an understanding, because the number one key to the success of a district or division pilot office is the summer assistant managers getting their own PRs in the door early in the summertime. The key word here is early, because I've had a couple of summers where assistant managers got PRs in the team, but it was like in July. You know, that didn't help us kickstart our summer. That didn't help us bring the summer forward. So we kind of started from nothing, and then they brought a couple people onto the team, you know, when things were really popping off and we'd already kind of made the moves and gotten to the networks the way we needed to. When assistant managers get their own PRs in the door, they learn how to sell people on doing the job with confidence and with enthusiasm, both of which are necessary to recruit people, by the way, in a traditional interview setting. Some of you guys will be running interviews this summer, and it's like, if you can't get your own personal PRs in the team, why would I feel confident about you running an interview for our office? It's like, you can't even sell your friends on the job. How are you going to sell strangers, you know, on the job? When AMs get their own PRs, rep productivity, the average sales rep's sales performance goes through the roof, because they are higher caliber recruits that come into training, and they, number one, they always crush their fast start. They always crush their first 10 days when they're recommended by an assistant manager. I also make sure that they crush that, because your managers are more attentive to work with your PRs than anybody else in training. And then as a trainer, I now have human trophies and proof and stories to promote to the next few training classes. Look, I've had so many 10K fast starters in my career, but it's a different thing to show them a list of 50 people over the past couple of years versus say, hey, last week we had this person, you know them. Yeah, last week they had this person, you know them too. You know, and then actually there's living human trophies and human proof in our office, and I can promote that to the next few training classes, which inspires other people to go bigger. When assistant managers, PRs crush it, they're faster. Not only are they excited about the job that, you know, that person enthusiastically sells their friends on doing the job. You know, that is how you create culture. It's truly about, you know, creating culture inside of the office, inside of the organization. And, you know, it's all about the assistant manager's enthusiasm for the actual position. It starts that culture fire that happens in so many offices. When assistant managers get their PRs in the door, it makes it the cool thing to do in the office. Oh, all the assistant managers recommend their friends to the team. You know, we should do it too. When assistant managers get their own PRs in the door, our traditional PR program, which is what we do with calling lots of PRs and things like that, it explodes through the roof, because those high caliber recruits, as a lot of you all know, a lot of them empty their cell phones and recommend everyone they know in the PR app on the second day of the job. And our receptionists are now setting, you know, 200 to 400 high caliber people for interviews from the PRs and people that you recommended. When assistant managers aggressively get their own PRs in the door, everyone else on the team aggressively gets their own PRs in the door. When AMs get their own PRs in the door, it makes the environment like way more fun and competitive. You know, I think a lot of you all, like, one thing I want to have in our office this summer is a culture of fun. You know, people just enjoying the job. And I'll just tell you, it's a lot different when there's like camaraderie already coming into it. You know, one of the things that I love about other summers is because half the reps in the office already knew each other. You know, it was like, all right, my squad and that person's squad and this person's squad, and people were all mixing and mingling from different schools and building relationships, a lot of which are still there today, and people are now starting business with each other. But it makes the office so much more fun. It also just makes things so much more competitive, you know, which again can be really fun, make things more exciting, and also usually results in more performance and more sales across the board. When, you know, again, people might care about competing with random people in their office. People care more about competing when it's like their boys and their friends and other people, and they get a little bit more, the competition is a little bit more fun and exciting with everything that you do. So, you know, we really want to create a culture this summer, everybody, where it is weird if you don't have friends on the team. You know, that's how people should be. It's like, you don't have any friends that are on our team. You don't have any friends that work here. That's kind of weird. and I can give you guys example after example of this too. I'm even just going through some of my notes here too, on all the different things people hit. I think your focus as we go into it, like I can go over stories like those 2 summers. That's just 2 summers, by the way. I can go through literally almost every single summer and have that exact same story and talk about what happened. And typically, by the way, if you're getting 8 to 10 PRs for the summertime. Now, last year we didn't do the Cancun trip because of COVID. They just paid out people. But that is my highlight trip of the year, truly. I know we do a lot of trips. The manager trips, you can't really beat those. However, this is my favorite like exotic trip that we do with like representatives, and it's usually the biggest and baddest one. The reason I also like this trip is because you had to be a good assistant manager to hit it. And the weak assistant managers usually just don't hit the trip. But any good assistant manager, in my opinion, is going to be on that trip at the end of the summertime too, or at least hit the trip. And it's not about hitting the trip, but what I will say is it usually is like you can hit the trip as an assistant manager just from recommending people to the team. Usually, I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know what the contest is. I don't know where the trip is this year. I also don't know what's going on with COVID. But what I will tell you is it's typically 8 to 10 PRs of what you actually need to do to be able to hit the trip. A couple of you all have talked to me about potentially winning a silver cup. Okay. There is a silver cup that is awarded just specifically for assistant managers with the PR team. So there's one for reps and there's one for assistant managers. And that's based off of the total sales, including you, by the way. I think you're included in it. So it's what you sell plus everyone that you recommended for the job sells for the summertime is included in that silver cup there as well. But our mission, I can go through stories like this all day long. Our mission is that every single assistant manager on our staff this summer launches, 5 seniors in high school, okay, 5 college students before May 1st, okay, and 5 high school students before June 1st. That's really the goal. Okay, is that every single assistant manager has 5 friends on the team that are in college by May 1st, and they've got 5 friends on the team that are in high school by June 1st. Can you imagine, by the way, what the organization will look like if every AM has launched 5 high school seniors before y'all are even back, back to your territories from exams? Can you imagine the first sales week, by the way, if you're on payroll as an office and we're doing 50, 70K, 100K in new business in the first couple weeks of the summertime. And by the way, remember how I told you guys about that chart about like how AM pay works, and you typically work really hard at the beginning and, you're not making that much money and you're working really a little bit less in the end and you're making more money. That doesn't have to be the case. Your office shipping 50 grand, 80 grand, 100 grand the first week or 2 in May, which by the way, that happened for a lot of offices last summer. There was like 5 offices in the region, just our region, that were shipping 100 grand the first week of May last year. Okay, you'll be making a lot of money in May. There won't be hey, you gotta wait till the work sees. And that's what this is all about too, is the reason that I showed you guys that graph is because typically in a normal office, it takes a while to get the summer going. The job of assistant managers is to bring the summer forward, to start that process early. Okay, is to get that train rolling early in the months of April and the months of May. So there's already a massive amount of momentum, because here's the deal, whether the assistant managers do it or not, if the assistant managers fold in April and May, we'll turn the corner in June. We'll eventually find our way into the networks. We've got SMRAs. Like if our assistant managers do nothing, we'll eventually find a way. But we're already 2 months into the summertime now. So when we're really peaking and thriving is at the end of June, going into July. Summer is 4 months long. We don't want to miss out on the first 2 months of the summer because we're just building. We want to build this thing fast and build it to last. Can you imagine a $500,000 new business month in June because of the size and the quality of the people on our team? And I'm telling you guys right now, that's possible. But the only way that happens is if our assistant manager team is leading the charge by getting their own PRs in the door. We nail it with our AMs, launching their own PRs, and literally, like, I'm just telling you this right now, everything else falls into place. Everything else falls into place. We could mess up everything else, but if that happens first, like, this is the one thing. This is the one thing that impacts everything else that we do. Assistant managers PRs impacts PPR, impacts recruiting, impacts our productivity, it impacts the culture of the team, it impacts the fun of the office, it impacts your experience at a high level this summertime. And it'll be really fun working by yourself and working with some friends that you have on the team, but it's even more exciting when, things go over from that place time as well. So this is how we doubled new business from last summer to this summer. And this is really the most important thing that you're going to do as an assistant manager in any district or division pilot offices. So let me give you guys a couple quick keys on how to recruit, and we'll wrap things up here. Cool. So you guys have ever heard the saying of ABCs? Always be closing. Oh, have you ever heard that in sales? Always be closing. Okay, for you all, it's ABR. Always be recruiting. Okay, always be recruiting. Meaning, like, look, I point back to Eddie because he's a good example of this. He's had like 47 PRs in his career. Qualified, like 47 PRs that have sold over $1,000. They've done the job. And by the way, most of them, probably his average PR sold about 20 grand. Okay. I forgot to mention Amy. He also recommended Amy Rod, who sold 200 grand. So always be recruiting, meaning every time you meet somebody, it doesn't mean don't be that guy or that girl that's like, you just meet somebody and you start asking them but like, I think there's ways to do it of being a recruiter. Meaning, again, first off, why do people get excited about the job? Yes, everyone's got different hot buttons. Some people care about income. Some people care about recognition. Some people care about experience. Some people are about to graduate. They want a more beefed up resume. Some people like to travel. If they knew they could hit a trip this summer, they'd be excited. Some people just want to have fun. They're just stuck at home, this virtual crap, and they just want to have a fun environment. Okay, everyone cares about different things. You want to hit a lot of them. If you know your friends, hit on the ones that they care about the most. Like my buddy that just likes making racks and doesn't care about people or experience or anything else like that. I'm not going to talk to him about experience and developing himself. I'm going to talk about how much money he could freaking make this summertime, and showing him some big paychecks. My other friends that, are super well off and loaded and mom and daddy pay for every single thing, and they could give a shit less about money, but they do care about themselves and developing themselves and being around a good team and experience. Like I'm going to talk about that, most of the time. Not like, oh, you can make a lot of money. They're like, I don't care about money. So you got to know what they care about, number one. The second thing, though, is you just always need to be recruiting. The number one reason why someone will try the job or go to an interview or give it a shot, though, is not because of all the perks and the pay and the commission structure. It's because it seems like you really freaking like it and they trust your opinion. It's the same reason people don't buy Cutco. They buy your belief and your conviction of the product. Same thing. People don't, go to the interview because they need a job. They come to the interview because they buy your belief, your enthusiasm, your conviction in the opportunity. It gets them conviction in the opportunity as well. So just always be recruited. Like every conversation that you have, like you don't need to, like, again, don't be that guy, right? Or that girl. That's like the person that's like, oh, like if you seem like you're trying to recruit them like super hard, it's like off-putting, right? Like it's a job. The way you want to approach it is from a place of leadership. Like you're helping them out, because that's really what you're doing for the summertime, by the way. You're helping them, not the other way around. Okay, they're not helping you out by coming in for a job interview. You are helping them by trying to give them an opportunity or maybe give them the in, which is also another thing too. Like people want what they can't have. That's why it's sometimes good to give a little bit of a pushback on certain things, right? And it's like, like that's one thing too. It's like whenever you say I'll get you an interview, like do not tell them I can just guarantee you the job. Okay, because it makes them feel like they just have it because they have an in with you. I would actually make them say like, hey, I can pretty much guarantee you I can set you up with an interview. I can't really guarantee you're getting the job, but I'll definitely put in a good word in them. Like you want them actually a little nervous before they show up to that interview, like showing up the right way and being like, yo, I'm gonna do what I can. I'm gonna talk to my manager. Hey, how did the interview go? Like tee it up the right way, and then also always be recruiting. Just asking people that you interact with. Adrian Arredondo, you guys want to know how he got recruited? Eddie was at a job fair handing out papers for another school. It was called the Doral Academy, not the school that Adrian graduated from. He graduated from Columbus, but he happened to be there for his brother's graduation. Eddie was in like the swim team or something with him for like the 2 years, or water polo a couple years back. Been like 2 or 3 years since he saw him. So I'm at the graduation, just started talking to him. They were just catching up a little bit. And he's like, yeah, like, well, what are you here? I'm like, yeah, I'm doing something for work. Like, yeah, by the way, like, what are you doing this summer? What do you got going on? And he's like, I don't know, nothing like too much. As he's dressed up in a suit, he's looking good. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, well, honestly, like the office that I'm working for this summer, like we have some openings. It's super cool. Whatever. I don't even know. I don't know exactly what words he said, But I talked to him, built it up a little bit, and I said, yeah, like if it's something you're interested in, like I might be able to see if I can like set you up for something too, or we should talk about it a little more. Got Adrian's number, didn't have the time. He's like, yeah, actually, I don't really have much going on at all. And it's just like that. Like that's Adrian Redondo, who's now going to be a district manager, was a pilot sales manager for the past couple of years. We all are here on this call because of Adrian. And think about that too. Like that's just a very easy opportunity that 99% of people would have just, oh, I kind of know that kid, whatever. He's like, oh, I kind of know that kid. I should go talk to him and see what he's doing this summer. And it's just that mindset of always be recruiting. Like that's how you're going to get PRs in the team. A lot of them weren't like all Eddie's homies of like people he was super close with. It was just people that he kind of knew from around. And he would just always kind of be talking to people. Hey, what do you got going on? He knew what the opportunity did for him and wanted to be able to give back that same opportunity to other people. So, all right, it is 6:02. Would you like to take a quick second, write down your top takeaways and light bulbs from the call, and post your top 2 or 3 light bulbs into the group chat before we wrap up here. And then I think Miami, you guys will be staying on here for a little bit. And I think for everybody else, you would be good to go. Post your top 2 or 3 light bulbs once you hop off, and make sure we're chucking away at those 2 couple assignments, and we'll get ready to rock and roll for here.